Welcome to the Bandano Podcast, where we're calling a spade a spade. Great to be here with you guys today. How much longer will this united front of the players' union stay united as bills pile up, as cars get repossessed, as they begin to get kicked out of their apartment complexes? How much longer until the 10th, 11th woman on the roster, the ones who make 80,000, with the potential in the new deal to make 250,000, how much longer until they wake up and smell the roses and they start looking at Fee and Stewart and Oneka Ogumake and they say, you know what? I don't really support this anymore. Now that I'm sitting here and thinking about it, now that I've gone a little bit without a paycheck, now that I take a look at my balance, I could use that 250,000. We're going to get into that right now. Please like the video, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and subscribe to the channel. That would mean so much to me. WNBA Players Association could lose leverage as CBA negotiations stall. This is an article by the Sports Business Journal. Talks between the WNBA and Players Association have stalled, and the union's, quote, upper hand at the bargaining table is slipping as soon as the players will be faced with the question of how long they can hold out, according to Adam Minter of Bloomberg News. It is a necessary but dispiriting thought, considering that the leverage was well-earned. By well-earned, we mean Caitlin Clark showed up and they suddenly had some leverage in their pocket. Publicly, the Players Association is presenting a united front, but the outward appearance masks a complex private reality. Many players can't afford to wait indefinitely. Unrivaled provides a lens for understanding the divide. This season, 54 top WNBA hoopers, about a third of the WNBA's active rosters in 2025, are participating in Unrivaled. For them, Unrivaled and its big paychecks of roughly $220,000 for an 8-week season are a nice cushion while negotiations linger. But for the other two-thirds of players, a group dominated by low-profile bench and role players with few marquee names, there's no comparable opportunity. They need to, quote, make do on their WNBA salaries, hope for the occasional endorsement, and spend their off seasons competing away from friends and family in overseas leagues. If faced with a work stoppage, they would have to deal with economic pressures that can fracture union positioning, aka they're going to want to get paid, aka they're going to dry up on their savings, aka they're going to need money, aka they got bills. A WNBA lockout or strike also poses economical risks for the WNBA. The league is in a much stronger financial position than its players to withstand a protracted delay or cancellation. Well, no shit. Pardon my language. Duh. Now, Natasha Cloud actually spoke about this before, and we've talked about this, that the players in Unrivaled, they don't really care about the other 100 players in the league. They don't really care about them because they're in Unrivaled. If there's a lockout, oh, no big deal. We're just going to stay in here in Unrivaled and continue on like everything's all hunky-dory. We'll extend the season. We'll get paid a little bit more money, and everything's fine over here. We don't really worry about the other 100 players. When are those other 100 players going to wake up and realize they don't care about y'all? They just want to get paid all the money that they feel that they missed during the NIL era. That's what a lot of this is, along with ego. A lot of this is players that missed the NIL era, sees Caitlin Clark. They don't want to admit it, but she's the dollar signs here. And they say, well, this is our only chance, really. This is our only chance that we're going to be able to cash in. Let's try our best right now. When are the 10th, 11th players on the roster going to realize that? And they're going to stick up to Fee and Breanna Stewart and actually defect? Let me know what you think in the comments section below. We also have an article from Annie Costable talking about WNBA could be weeks away from delaying season. Despite releasing the schedule earlier this week, the WNBA likely needs to agree to a CBA by February to start the season on time. The WNBA wants everybody to believe the 2026 season will tip off on May 8th. It asserted as much with an announcement of a 44-game slate and a statement that explained in part the move was to allow, quote, essential planning to begin. The reality of where collective bargaining agreement negotiations stands paint a different picture. As of Friday, today, the Players Union was still waiting on a response from the league to a proposal it sent nearly a month ago. This is before Christmas, folks. They sent a proposal before Christmas. We went through Christmas, we went through the New Year, we went through Three Kings Day, and we went through a Boxing Day, and here we are, January 23rd, nearly a month after the union sent a proposal. The league said, just leave them on red. Maybe they'll get the point and send us something better. But remember, Breanna Stewart yesterday said, they're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. How can you see the light at the end of the tunnel, you liar? Whatever. In that proposal, the union is seeking a 30% share of the league's gross revenue and a salary cap of $10.5 million. The league's latest proposal includes a max base salary of $1 million, which would increase to more than 1.3 with revenue share. The league's proposing roughly 70% of its net revenue over the span of the deal. The salary cap would be at $5 million in year one and would grow in tandem with the league's revenue. General managers are still in the dark regarding rules for the two-team expansion draft for the Toronto Tempo and the Portland Fire, including whether there will be a window for pre-expansion transactions. Additionally, the core designation, similar to the franchise tag, is being discussed in negotiations which could significantly impact the expansion draft. For example, the 2024 expansion draft for the Golden State Valkyries allowed them to select one unrestricted free agent, but only if they had not already been signed under the core tag for 2 or more years. Multiple league sources believe the best case scenario for free agency would be early March, and that's if the ink dries on a new CBA by early February, giving the WNBA the rest of the month to plan and conduct an expansion draft. Multiple league sources believe the best case scenario would be early March, given the ink dries by early February. We are about 2 weeks away from early February. February is in 7 days, 8 days. 2 weeks, we're sitting what, February 5th, February 6th? They need to get a deal soon before we start pushing the schedule back. So just starting it later but ending later, or we need to start chopping off some games. In a typical year, free agency begins in early January and all major signings are commonly wrapped up by early February. Applying the same timeline to the current state of affairs would mean that an early March start date for free agency would give teams enough of a runway to construct rosters by the start of training camp on April 19th. However, in the middle of free agency, front offices will also be preparing for the 2026 WNBA draft, currently held April 13th. The league has never lost games to a work stoppage in its 29-year history. The next 2 weeks will be an indicator of whether its 30th season will be the first time it does. If the deal doesn't get done soon, might not be a lockout, there might not be a strike, but at the bare minimum, they're going to need to delay the season or start chopping some games off. Instead of a 44 game, it'll be a 38 game. They missed the first 6 games because they push it back 2 weeks. They mixed the first 10 games because they push it back a month. But to what we talked about earlier, how much longer will that 97% of players that agreed with the strike dwindles to 90%, dwindles to 80%, dwindles to 65%? Might not be able to vote again. I doubt they can vote on that again. But the rumblings and the talk behind the scene, it'll get back to them. And they'll say, damn, we're not really united anymore. These girls fractured and they don't agree with it anymore. And they're kind of starving and they need to pay for this and she needs to pay for that. And let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I appreciate all the support. Like the video and subscribe. That would mean so much to me. See you next time. And as always, take it easy.